What's up, guys? This is Paul and Pauline Theology's Daily Devotional. We're going through the book of Exodus. Today we're in Exodus 7 and 8 in chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 7 and 8. If you haven't read it yet, go ahead, stop the tape, check it out, see what that say, come back, and we're going to answer some questions, man. We got 3 questions that we ask every time. First question is, actually, I think we have 4 questions. Sorry. We got 4 questions we ask every time. The first question is, what's actually going on in the scriptures? Like, what are we reading about? The second question is, what does this scripture say about God? The third question is, what does this scripture say about man? And then the last question is, how do we apply these truths in our lives? So, if you're ready to dive deep in the scriptures to grow in your trust in Jesus, let's get started. So, if you haven't read it yet, stop the tape, check it out, see what it has to say, come back. And that is Exodus chapter 2, verse 7 and 8. If you've already read it, man, let's go ahead and dive in. What's happening? What's going on in the scriptures? Well, we've come to where God has introduced himself. He said, I'm the God of your father, and I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then he explains what he's doing, like why he's come to him. He's like, man, I heard the suffering of your people. It's like, I've heard that the Egyptians are crushing the souls of the Israelites, man. And he's like, guess what? That cry has not gone vain. I heard them. He says, and I'm going to do something about it. I think a couple episodes ago we talked about how God remembered. And remember, that remembered means that he is going to act upon his promise. Not that he had forgotten about it, but it's a way of saying like, hey, now is the time for fulfillment. Now is the time for me to get it. And so this is what he says, man, I'm going to come down. I'm going to use my mighty hand to pull them out, for I know they're suffering, man. And we know that word know. That yada, that's an intimate understanding. So it's not only that he not only that he like can see it and recognize it, but he understands it and he feels it. This is what this is, man. It's cool because let me check, make sure. But I think that when he talks about this cry of the people, man, he's talking about the individual person. Not so much the group. And so even though it's a large group, a big group of Israelites in which is feeling this suffering, God is saying, I feel the suffering of the whole people, but I feel your suffering. I feel you, individual suffering. Each one of you, man. Each one of you. And that reminds me actually of Jesus on the cross as he dies for the sins of the world. He still feels the pain of each individual sin, and he can forgive each individual sin of each individual person. What a mighty thing. What a wonderful thing that God feels you, understands you, and knows you in your situation, in your plight. Not just overall how everybody feels bad, how everybody feels sad, how everybody feels hurt, how everybody feels broken, but you individually, how you feel. How you're hurt and how you're broken. So what does it say about God? Well, we just said it, that God feels intimately his people. He knows his people. He sees his people. And he knows them, man. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, man. Another thing is that God is carrying out his promises, man. When he says something, he's going to do it. He says that he's going to bring them out of the land of Egypt and take them to a land flowing with milk and honey, man. And milk and honey, that's a cool little thing. I think I may talk about that maybe in the next episode a little bit. But he is not just taking away from what is hard and difficult, but he's bringing him to a place where it is peaceful, a wholeness about it, and then a goodness. And so he's taking us out of these things and bringing us to a place of rest. A place of rest. What's to say about man? I think this says that we need rest. We need rest. And it is just the thing that we all have to have. Me and my wife were going through Mark, and one of the things he said was Jesus said that he said that the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. And what he's saying is that we need rest. We need rest. And that is what God is doing for these Israelite people. He says he's going to pull them out and give them rest. So how do we apply these truths in our lives? I think what we must see is that God sees us. That's something I think even we could just stop there. we cut the tape, stop the tape, stop the tape. Because that's what we need to know, is that God knows us. And then I think we can take from that also that God is going to deliver us to the place that we need to be to find rest. Those are the two things we got to remember. We got to hope for. We've got to recognize is that if we believe that God knows all things and he's here for us to bring himself glory, obviously. That's the number one thing. But also that he cares and loves us so much, and he sees us and knows our pains, our struggles, our hurts, our joys, our fears. Then we must believe, if he is a good God, that he is going to bring us to a place through all of this stuff that we're going through so that we might be closer to him and find that rest that he desires for us. So where is that rest for you? Where is that place that God is taking you to? What is he revealing? What is he showing you? That's what we have to know. That's what we've got to find. But rest in God, knowing with all his power and strength, his mighty hand, that he's going to pull us out of this suffering and bring us to a place of rest. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.